share your office with anybody, did you?
No, not really. I mean, everybody'd kind of pile in there sometimes and they were tearing stuff up. It's done now.
Shelley's not, and then they said Mark's at quorum court meeting, hoping to be here.
With your
Meeting at
Something
6.
with roads, I guess.
Said he'd try to be here. But yeah, we kinda need you.
That's his JOB, his first JOB.
Yeah. Anything but ordinance.
vote on
We
ordinances.
don't have that many ordinances, really. And they're,
We
and
get
they don't
started.
come a
If he
little ways
shows up, we
down,
use the
so
ordinances. We'll just,
hopefully we can make it.
That I told Theo I'd give him.
I guess the award, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's unpaid, right? Travel welfare.
Jack, how are you? I heard the shower was nice. Yeah.
Comes at a good time.
Very good.
No, right now, but we'd already planned the trip for our anniversary. So we were out.
who's the prayer man?
I don't know what your wife would do.
Look this way.
I don't know.
77. Was that like?
77, you're 2 years behind, you're 2 years behind, 39.
Are we ready to comment?
He's a preacher right now. He's a preacher Ledbetter. I plugged you, so plug it back in if you need to.
Hey, man, man, see, why you snitching on me, man?
I thought you knew something.
No, I don't. Good evening, and we'll get our city council meeting started tonight. If you would stand with us, and this evening, Mark Ledbetter, Ward 3 Alderman, is going to lead us in prayer, followed by a pledge of allegiance.
Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for all you've given us, all the blessings you've bestowed on us, Lord. And Lord, thank you for what you've done for our city. And Lord, just guide us and give us the wisdom to do the things that are right moving forward with our city, Lord. In your name we ask these things. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mark, thank you for stepping in for Ms. Isby this evening, who usually handles that chore. And it is a pleasure to do that. Thank you. Mr. Garrett, would you call the roll?
Love to. Mr. Grimes?
Here.
Mr. Pruitt? Here. Mr. Ledbetter?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Hawkins?
Here. So we do have 6 members of the council here this evening, so we will be able to act on all of our items on the agenda. And the first item on the agenda is the minutes. Our first thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes that were submitted to you.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second for approval of the minutes as submitted. Any discussion? Then all in favor of approval of the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Approval of the minutes passes 6-0. Standing committees will be the first thing on our agenda this evening, and the first one is a resolution setting a public hearing to discuss the closing of a portion of the utility easement for certain lots along Andrews Drive. And we would like to set this meeting on the 23rd day of August at 6:30 in this building. And we have a resolution to read for this item. It's Resolution R-16-28.
28.
Make a motion for adoption.
Second.
We have a motion and second for adoption of the resolution setting the public hearing to close a portion of the easement for lots along Andrews Drive for the 23rd of August. Any discussion on that? Then all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I vote aye, and that's 6-0. Second item is a resolution setting a public hearing to discuss the closing of the unbuilt right-of-way running through Block 7 of the West End addition. That is property that is located just off the intersection of Salem and College, immediately to the east of Arvest Bank, Simmons Bank, and Chicken Place?
Slim Chickens.
Slim Chickens, thank you very much. They've just undergone a renovation down there, so that's what this is for. It's a resolution for that, and resolution is Resolution R-1629.
Make a motion for adoption.
Second.
Motion and second for adoption of the resolution. Any discussion on that topic? No discussion. All in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? And that passes 6-0. Next item on the agenda is consideration to approve purchase of right-of-way of Lot 3, Pediatrics Plus subdivision. That is south of College for the Tucker Creek Trail Project. And Mr. Vinson, are you with us still? There you are. You were back hiding. Would you come up and tell us about this, please, sir?
Not hiding well enough, am I?
You were close.
This is for the trail that has been completed not that long ago. And on the north side and south side of College, we had to get right-of-way or an easement for the trail to complete it. And both the north side and the south side are involved with Pediatrics Plus. You know, the north side is where the Pediatrics Plus is. It is owned by, the property on the south side is owned by Pediatrics Plus. In early negotiations, what was agreed to was that if they donated the property on the north side, we would purchase the property on the south side. And it was the amount that was got a little bit bungled. We had an appraisal for the property on the north side and an appraisal for the property on the south side. On the north side, the appraisal was for $21,000. On the south side, the appraisal was for $20,000. At some point, the owner believes that we agreed to pay him $21,000, which is the appraisal for the north side, but the property we're actually buying is on the south side. So that's why the appraisal is for $20,000, but the recommendation is to pay $21,000 for it.
Okay. And they're donating then the other?
They have already donated the north side. The south side, they have dedicated an easement, but the proposal is that we vacate the easement and buy the entirety of Lot 3, which is all of the property that encompasses both the trail and the creek.
I move that we approve this.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the purchase of this right-of-way. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor of approving the purchase signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I vote yes, and that's 6-0. Let's see, Mr. Vinson, don't run off yet,
All right.
because you have good news to bring to us.
I do.
Next, and we like
I
good
would have
news.
shown up for this one.
This is consideration to approve change order for the Arkansas Highway and Transportation Department for the Highway 64 interchange traffic operation improvement.
That's correct, and I will give you all the details you want, but in a nutshell, it's a savings of a little over $50,000. We're
Make a
putting in
motion.
some, go ahead, I'm
We
sorry.
approve this.
All right.
Go on, you can go and
You
finish.
want to
No, I was just gonna say, we had to add some drainage, but we saved some money on the base, so it ends up being a total savings.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Someone asked me the other day, when you get off at the Oak Street,
Mhm.
exit off of the interstate, if you're going west on 40 and you get off, they were under the impression that there was going to be one lane that was going to be dedicated to wrap around underneath there to get back into the new shopping area at Central Landing. It doesn't look like that's what's gonna happen, though.
No, I don't think so.
There's no way to do
If you're north, if you're on I-40 west, which is
West.
kind of northbound,
Yes,
and you get off to go west on Oak Street,
yes.
I don't think that's, essentially, the east side of I-40 is gonna be pretty much unchanged in its operation.
Okay, very good. They were wondering because there was a lot of room outside of the areas that traffic runs on now.
Yeah, the highway department took advantage of us being in the area to do some drainage improvements. I think that's the majority of what you're seeing there.
Very good. Thank you very much. Did we vote on that?
No.
There's the motion.
We have a motion and second to approve that change order. Any other discussion? Then all in favor of approving that change order signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes 6-0. Mr. Benson, thank you very much. Yes, indeed. The next item is consideration of options for property that we acquired when we bought some land out on South German Lane. And I'm looking, there's Mr. Fun. Mr. Ibbotson, would you come forward, please? Tell us about this.
The property at 1305 South German Lane has been vacated. All utilities are off. It does have a log room that appeared to be the laundry room for the residents. It's approximately 12 by 14. Has hand-hewn logs in it, chinked, has looks like a clapboard ceiling in there, and if you remove the linoleum off the floor, it looks like it's a hardwood plank floor. Other than that, I can't find anything else in the house that would be considered historical. I know we've had some concerns from some people that they want to try to preserve that, but all it is a 13 by approximately 15-foot room. You know, if we leave it in, or as it is now, if we leave it empty, we, stand a chance of it being vandalized, people ripping copper, taking the heat and air units out of it, moving into it, vandalizing it, burning it. So we're just trying to get some direction from the council as to what the council would like us to do. The other option is, if you want, we could throw out an RFP for proposals for somebody if they want to try to save that lumber and stuff, that they could submit a proposal to come and remove the room and the rest of the dwelling.
I think that Mr. Bell has also been contacted today about a possible buyer to come and move it, maybe. Would that be out of line to say that, Mr. Bell?
I got a call, asked where it was, and what kind of condition it was in, and they, were interested in possibly moving to another location.
I did go out and take a look at this property today with Mr. Ibbotson. And I mean, there's some work went on in doing those logs like they did them. Nothing that's the same size. I mean, they took what they had and worked with it, and I think it's part of the old Farber property.
That's what I understood, yes.
As I remember the story.
Should we do some bids on it if there's other people that might be interested, or?
Well,
I think that's what we could do through a proposal.
Yeah, I think that would be fair.
I think that something like that wouldn't be a bad idea, with even the right to reject them if we don't see anything out of it. I don't
And we
know.
don't really know, do we know what it's worth or anything, the value?
Not to have it moved, I wouldn't. I mean, we could talk to some folks and see.
Yeah.
But it's, my understanding was, what everybody seemed to be interested in was that log room. And I mean, if you watch Barnyard Builders, I mean, that's what the logs look like in there.
That's what, yeah.
You
A
can
lot
see
of
that.
people will come and take it away just for free.
For the
Like
wood,
say, hey,
yeah.
we'll get it away for free if we can keep the wood.
Mm-hmm.
And
Help save us demolition cost.
I'd be
Right.
fine with
They're
that.
gonna take the whole house.
I think,
See if we can get rid of it.
yeah.
We might
think so.
even see what somebody comes up with. Someone might get creative and say, hey, we'll take it off your hands for nothing, and charge you to take it down.
Mhm.
I'd like to personally see the wood repurposed for something.
Then we'd be happy to put together an RFP and then find the results of that and bring those back to you
That's a good idea.
to review.
Fair with y'all?
Do we need an emotion or
Yeah, if I could.
so moved?
Second.
Motion and second to put an RFP together then to see if we can get this thing moved and
By the
saved
same,
in some form or
but
fashion.
by the same token, if somebody wanna tear it down and move it and it don't cost us anything, I don't think we need to let that get away either.
No,
No.
no, no,
Mhm.
no.
I think you're gonna have people interested in it. I think you're gonna have people interested.
Somebody's gonna get a deal on some wood on this deal. 'Cause
And then
that's some
nobody
good
wants
stuff.
it if we put bids out,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. We have a motion and second, and any other discussion? Then all in favor of having Mr. Ibbotson put an RFP together for us, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes 6-0.
Mr. Hawkins?
Yes, sir.
While we're on the subject of tearing down houses, Finley, or Jack, do you know where we are on demolishing the house at the corner of Salem and College?
We've got the demo permit has been acquired several weeks ago and waiting on A and B to do the
Okay.
work. What they'll do is squeeze it in between another job.
All right, cool.
Hopefully soon.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Very good. Next item on the agenda is consideration to enter into a memorandum of agreement regarding the Springfield Desark Bridge for the Parks and Recreation Department. And, you familiar with this?
I've read over it. One thing I was gonna ask about, if anyone else has looked into it, maybe it's a typo, maybe it's something I misunderstood here. The last paragraph talks about, appeared to be War Eagle Bridge in Benton County. I'm not sure how that really worked into it.
It's what?
It's a reference made in paragraph, I guess it's 8, to the War Eagle Bridge in Benton County.
Yeah.
I'm
I think
assuming
that's
that was
probably a
left over
typo.
from some previous memorandum of understanding.
Yeah, that's a good
Other
point.
than that,
We'll make sure
we
that
haven't
gets
been
changed.
shocking in it.
Okay. Very good.
This is just a step in the process, one of many steps dealing with this grant process, so we're all getting an education. But this is the next step.
I make a motion, we enter into this agreement.
Have a motion and second to enter into this agreement. Any discussion regarding that? No discussion. All in favor of entering into this memorandum of agreement, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes 6-0. Next item is an ordinance appropriating funds for moving and restoring the Springfield Desark Bridge for the Parks and Recreation Department. And Mr. Ibbotson, you're back at the microphone.
Yes, sir. The $89,000 we're requesting to be appropriated out of the A&P funds is $60,000 of that to cover is our part of the match of the grant from MetroPlan. And then the other $29,000 is to cover the rest of the contract that we'd have with the bridge, Working Bridges.
I make a motion, we waive the 3 readings.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve this ordinance. It's ordinance number 016. Oh, it did.
Wait, waive the readings.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you very much.
It's not a
I
problem.
don't sit here very often.
That's all right, you're doing a great job, though.
I've got an over-under on the get out of here time. To keep us on the schedule.
I guess that,
Hold him back. So we do need to waive the readings, first of all. And we have a motion and a second to waive the readings. All in favor of waiving the readings, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all opposed.
I make a motion for adoption.
second.
We have a motion and second for adoption of the ordinance.
What number is it?
01688.
Thank you very much. It is 88. Now, any discussion on the ordinance? Then, Mr. Garrett.
Mr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Mr.
Mr. Grimes?
Aye.
Mr. Ledbetter?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Hawkins?
Yes. That passes 6-0.
Thank you very much.
So this continues on a good path as we continue to try to get this relocated out to Fork Lake. Mr. Garrett has informed me that items 4, 5, and 6 in the B section need to be pulled from the meeting this evening, so I would make a motion at this time that we do that.
Second.
Motion and second to pull items 4, 5, and 6 from the agenda this evening, and they will be placed on a future agenda. All in favor of pulling these items, putting them in committee, signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? That passes 6-0. Next items are in Public Service Committee. First of all, an ordinance appropriating grant and reimbursement funds for the Animal Welfare Unit. We have an ordinance to read for this item. It's ordinance 01689.
Make a motion, we waive the readings.
Second.
Motion and second to waive the readings. All in favor of waiving the reading, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Readings are waived, and we have the ordinance before you.
Make a motion for adoption.
Second.
Motion and second for adoption of the ordinance. Chief, good evening.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. You got 2 items listed right there. One of them you've seen quite often with the rescue wagon. That's reimbursements everyone is very familiar with. That will probably be one of the last, if not the last, reimbursement we get from Rescue Wagon. We were notified in April that that program no longer exists as of July 1st. That was obviously a pretty big hit to us. We receive anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000 a year from that program, as well as we get rid of about 200 dogs through that program. So that was a pretty big hit to us. So as you can imagine, everyone that was part of that suffered from that. PetSmart heard the cries, and what they did is they offered a transitional grant, which partnering agencies could apply. Shauna applied for that grant, and that's what that $45,750 is. So we have received a transitional grant from PetSmart Charities to kind of help us make that transition from the rescue wagon.
Will that be ongoing, or?
That will be an annual grant. We're taking it as a one-time grant, and if they still offer it this time next year, we'll definitely apply for it.
Yeah.
What Shauna has done is she's reached out through her resources. While we don't have the rescue wagon anymore, the BARK bus will be coming to town. So I understand it comes out of Wisconsin and somewhere along the way. Apparently they're dog poor up there. They do not reimburse us for our medical expenses with that, but we still get rid of the animals here, and they don't have to face euthanasia here. So it's still a positive thing. So, and I think that's about it.
Very good. We have an ordinance before us, and we've got a motion and a second. And any other discussion? Mr. Garrett?
Mr. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Ledbetter?
Yes.
Mr. Pruitt? Aye. Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Grimes?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
That passes 6-0. Next item on the agenda is an ordinance appropriating reimbursement funds from various entities for the Conway Police Department. And Chief, one more time.
General accounting ordinance that you guys have seen before. I don't know that I have anything to add to that. If you have any questions,
I
I'll be
make
glad
a
to answer.
motion to waive the 3 readings.
Second.
Motion and second to waive the 3 readings on this. All in favor of waiving the readings, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the ordinance is before you.
Move for
I make-
adoption.
Second.
Motion and second for adoption of the ordinance. It's ordinance number 01690. Any discussion? No discussion? Mr. Garrett?
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Ledbetter?
Yes.
Mr. Grimes?
Aye.
That passes 6-0. We have some items that we need to get rid of, and Chief, can you tell us about that?
The first one we have is 5 portable breath testers. These are old, very, very outdated. Some of these are as old as long as I've been there anyway, for over 25 years. So they're just outdated. They don't work, can't be repaired, and we're just asking to take them off the inventory list.
Very good.
Make a motion, we approve this disposal of assets.
Second.
Motion and second to approve disposal of these assets. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes 6-0. Mr. Garrett? And the final item that we have here is consideration to approve the disposal of assets for the Conway Police Department. This is cameras.
Yeah, this is what we refer to as our flashback one camera systems, recording systems that they're probably 6 to 7 years old. Connectivity problems, a lot of it doesn't work. Just doesn't work what we have now. We've replaced them with the newer models, and we're asking to dispose those through publicsurplus.com.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second that we dispose of these assets, the cameras, take them to the internet to see if there are buyers for them. Will there be?
Possibly. You might be able to make 3 or 4 good systems out of all 46 of them.
Very good. Very good. All right. Any other discussion on this? No discussion. All in favor of disposing of these assets signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes 6-0.
Hey, Chief, so I just wanted to brag on you guys real quick. I got a message from some very avid cyclists the other day where they had a very close call with a car out on Sturgis Road, where several cyclists were within about 6 to 12 inches of probably dying because of some cars. And I believe they got the license plate and called CPD, and they said within a few minutes, 30 minutes or so, they had already figured out who the car belonged to and that it was outside of the city limits, and they've already reached out to the county to make sure they go out and talk to them. And, I think that's very important, and it was a very good job on behalf of the whole police department stepping up and acting really quickly to, hopefully protect someone from any future accidents that can happen. Because I know there's several of my buddies have been hit by cars, cyclists, Judge Clark being one of them, one of our local judges, got hit by a trailer and put in the hospital. So, I think it's very important that they be aware there's more and more cyclists, especially children. The Conway Kids Triathlons this weekend, there'll be 300 plus kids out there riding their bikes. So, seeing that Conway is leading kind of the way when it comes to cycling and protection of a cyclist, I think that's very important. So I just want to say thanks.
Thank you. I had not heard that, so I appreciate you telling me that. I'll make sure that
it was
people
Officer
involved.
Holland, I believe, is who they spoke with.
Holland?
Yeah.
He's one of our new guys. That's
So,
good.
there you go.
Thank you.
I just thought that was important to bring it out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Anybody with anything else to say?
Yes, sir. I move for adjournment.
Very good. Motion and second.
That was
for
coming
adjournment.
out.
Mr. Jones done very theatrically.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Yes.
Stand up and go home. We're done. Thank you.
Close.
It's close.
You lost, Joe.
I'm gonna watch some swimming.
I know, the gymnastics time too.
I know, it's 7:01. I knew he'd lost. He took over, and I knew we'd never come over that one.
I do not.